Joy Reid, my personal favorite. You know, if it wasn't for Smelly Jamelli, who was so special, I keep a picture of her right here beside me on my desk. Anytime I'm feeling down, anytime I'm having a bad day, I look at this picture of Smelly Jamelli and I immediately think, my life ain't so bad. Jamel Hill's kind of like a keg of beer with no tap. Keg looks really nice, keg's filled with beer, but without the tap, the keg is completely useless, it has no purpose. Same thing with the media career of Jamel Hill. Smelly Jamelli has no purpose, she no longer has any influence. Since the business of mythical racism has been bankrupted, Jamel Hill, she's been struggling. Podcast, canceled. Book sales, non-existent. Media appearances, none. That's okay. That's okay. Her sister in woke, the wicked weave of the woke Joy Reid. Joy is trying to revive the business of mythical racism. A couple of months ago, Joy's broom was flying at altitudes that she hadn't seen in 3 years. Ratings for her dump at MSNBC, the highest they had been since she premiered. During the month of August, Joy Reid was averaging 1.5 million viewers. Now, that was an increase of 400,000 when compared to the month of July. Well, that doesn't make any sense, right? Over the last 12, maybe 18 months, Joy Reid has been struggling to draw an audience. All the tricks that she used in the past, they were failing to make an impact. Changing hair colors didn't work. Changing hair lengths, going from shoulder-length hair to a hairstyle that closely resembled Megan Rapinoe, didn't work either. Joy Reid's star power was fading. She was no longer capturing the attention of the mainstream by giving passionate lectures on created racism. Now, with that being the case, what could have happened during the month of August to cause an additional 400,000 people to allow evil into their homes? To her credit, Joy Reid went back to the basics. She focused on the fundamentals. She went back to the strategy that landed her spot in primetime on MSNBC to begin with. Throughout August, Joy Reid focused on the biggest star in cable news, the man who accomplished the impossible by pulling millions of viewers on CNN, a network that couldn't draw 1 million viewers if they aired a live demonstration of how to properly squeeze Don's lemons. Joy Reid went back to the basics. She centered her show around Donald Trump. There was just one problem with this plan, one tiny problem. After a couple of weeks, Americans kind of got tired of nightly coverage analyzing exaggerated charges against the Trumper. Ratings in September fell to 1.3 million viewers. Fast forward to October, and the front runner of the woke beauty pageant, she was able to nicely rebound. That conflict in Israel, it was increasing ratings throughout cable news. Fox News up 42%, CNN up 17%. Now sure, MSNBC is a network. They were down 33% in prime time, but not Joy Reid. Joy Reid was back to pulling 1.4 million viewers with her unparalleled coverage of the war. She was having expert guests like Mehdi Hassan, the dude who just got canceled by MSNBC for being an unhinged doofus. Joy would invite Mehdi Hassan on her program to give her audience exclusive coverage of the pro-Palestinian protests taking place in woke cities across America. Israelis are occupiers, we are identifiers, no justice, no peace, grilled wieners in these cheeks. Because MSNBC's coverage of the war in Israel has been so vile, so biased, in some cases it's been absolutely disgusting, the network has seen a massive decline in ratings throughout the month of November. Honestly, and I think I told you guys this yesterday, I think this is why they fired Mehdi Hassan. Well, Casey, he's not fired. They just canceled his show. He's still going to be appearing on the network. Yeah, sure. Executives at MSNBC, they have realized that the shitfucks protesting in streets across America, they don't represent the majority of the country. Hell, I don't think they represent 95% of the country, at least when it comes to Israel. Americans have always supported Israel. Now, that doesn't mean that Israel is perfect. That doesn't mean Israel is always right. But for most Americans, if you give them the choice between supporting Israel and supporting Hamas, they are always going to choose Israel. During the month of November, Joy Reid's found a way to turn off 300,000 people. Joy Reid's back to averaging 1.2 million viewers, her lowest average in the last 4 months. Once again, in a time of desperation, Joy Reid turns back to Mr. Reliable. Anytime she is struggling in the ratings, Joy Reid knows that she can always rely on the Trumper to give her a temporary boost. Thursday night, Joy Reid decided to focus on one of the many trials of Donald Trump. The Queen of Diversity had a panel of guests on her show that completely lacked melanin. She brought on some anonymous white woman to express her disdain for the orange man, and sitting to her right was the Pepperidge Farm guy. You know, that doesn't seem like a very diverse panel to me, but what the hell do I know? I'm not a shit fuck. This panel of two unknown white people, along with the beautiful Joy Reid, who decided to go with blonde hair for this episode. They were talking about a gag order that was placed on Donald Trump. I wonder why they would want a presidential candidate who's been beating John Biden in most polls. I wonder why they would want him silenced. Pay close attention. I want you to listen to how Joy Reid describes Donald Trump here. Listen to the adjective that she uses to describe the former president. Roll the film.
Donald Trump is a thug. I mean, that is just clear. He's been a thug from the time he ran for office, you know, getting his crowds to attack protesters inside of the actual, events. And he's now unleashed these attacks on people who aren't even connected to the case. They're just married to somebody that he's mad at. The impact potentially on the people Trump is attacking is potential injury or worse, because Donald Trump leads what is a cult that includes violence, known violence, violence we've seen on tape, violence we've seen people arrested for. His people, his base, will threaten to kill anyone who they think doesn't like Trump, is a Trump hater. We've seen it.
Let me ask you something. If Donald Trump claimed that Joy Reid was leading a cult, if Donald Trump called Joy Reid a thug, what do you think the reaction would be? This is racism! The evil orange man called an innocent black queen a thug! You already know what the reaction would be in the media. They would crucify him. They would demonize him. Hell, if Donald Trump tells a woman that she's beautiful, the media calls it harassment. If he told a dude that he was handsome, the media calls it homophobia. Joy Reid, she is in the business of mythical racism. She literally creates racism for a living. So how come she's allowed to use that word to describe Donald Trump, but if the roles were reversed, she would call it racism? Towards the end of the clip, Joy Reid claimed that Trump supporters hurt people that don't agree with him. She accused Trump supporters of belonging to a cult, and they're willing to destroy the lives of people who don't follow their beliefs. Joy Reid even claimed to have seen it happen. That's strange. I don't remember seeing Trump supporters being criminally charged with assault. I don't remember seeing Trump supporters being charged with manslaughter. When did this happen, Joy? KC, just take my word for it. It happened. Yeah, I looked down the list of the people I trust. The devil wasn't on it. This is classic Joy Reid. Throws out a baseless claim, refuses to provide examples, doesn't provide one shred of evidence to support it. I find it ironic that the mainstream media was so unhinged when Donald Trump was threatening to arrest Hillary Clinton. You guys remember that? During the campaign in 2016, every time the Trumper threatened to investigate Hillary Clinton over her lengthy list of possible crimes, the media, they expressed their fake outrage. Trump wins the election, never goes after Hillary Clinton. Why? I wish I could tell you. My thing is, though, how come it's so different now? When it was Hillary Clinton being investigated, the media was against it. But when the Trumper is being criminally charged, he's on trial. All of a sudden, the media supports it? I don't remember Joy Reid being this passionate when Hunter Biden was being accused of crimes. There have been so many alleged crimes with the Biden Hunter. Remember during the summer of 2020, all those people were in the streets refusing to take baths? Instead of taking a shower, they were picking up rocks and throwing them through store windows. While they were throwing rocks, Hunter was probably smoking them. You had the situation in Ukraine between John and the Biden Hunter, the laptop story that for some reason was completely ignored by the mainstream media. I don't remember seeing the same passion in Joy Reid with the Biden family. So, how come we are seeing this vitriol against the Trumper? Let's just think about this logically for a second. In my lifetime, I have never seen a presidential candidate, a presidential frontrunner, being criminally charged in the middle of a campaign. Most of these allegations against Trump, they're old. How come they didn't bring charges in 2021? How come they didn't bring charges in 2022? Why did they wait until the summer of this year, during the middle of the Republican primary, to bring all these charges against Trump? Now, I haven't been keeping up with the ongoing trial. I think it's in New York City. If I remember correctly, I believe the premise of the entire trial is dealing with real estate valuations or something to that effect. Either way, it's a white-collar crime if a crime's been committed at all. It's not like this is the O.J. Simpson trial. So why is there a gag order here? Why are people like Joy Reid pushing for Trump to be imprisoned? Why are people like Joy Reid pushing so hard for Donald Trump to be silenced? You know, I haven't always been a Trump supporter. I wanted him to win in 2016 and 2020 because my other options were Hillary Clinton and John Biden. But I'm not someone who just blindly follows Donald Trump. But it really makes me wonder why they are pushing so hard to have him silenced. It makes me wonder why they're pushing so hard to make sure he goes to jail. Why are they so afraid of Donald Trump? In my life, I have never seen the mainstream media this afraid of a presidential candidate. Why? I can only speculate. This is just speculation on my part, but maybe Donald Trump is the only thing standing in the way of their globalist agenda. I thought Ron DeSantis was great Thursday night in his debate against Gabby Newsom, but the media, they're not worried about Ronnie. They know he don't have a chance. I'm also questioning Nikki Haley because she seems to have the support of the mainstream media. Anytime the media supports something, I'm automatically skeptical of it. There's always been political division in this country. George Bush was constantly demonized by the mainstream media, but they weren't trying to silence him. They weren't trying to put his ass in jail. The media, they didn't like Ronald Reagan, but there wasn't this level of vitriol to it. When it comes to Trump, the hatred's at an all-time high. And I think the hatred is just the symptom. I think the hatred is covering up the fear. These people are afraid of Donald Trump. I can only speculate as to why, but maybe you can tell me. Why do you think the mainstream media is so afraid of Donald Trump? Also, give me your thoughts on Joy Reid calling Trump a thug and claiming that his followers belong to a cult. Would that type of language be allowed if this was Sean Hannity talking about Barack Obama? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. I appreciate you guys and your continued support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.